Hi, I'm Tess Hembry. I'm NARA's Director of Congressional Relations, and I'm here on day 20 of the government shutdown to explain to you how we got here and what you can do to help end this situation. Funding for 7 of the 12 appropriations bills expired on Saturday, December 22nd. That shut down 9 of 12 of the federal agencies, unfortunately including HUD. The shutdown lasted over the holidays, and Congress reconvened last Thursday, January 3rd, to gavel in the 116th Congress. That meant Democrats took over the House and Republicans retained control of the Senate. Immediately after gaveling into office, the House approved 6 spending bills, full-year spending bills, and 1 CR. The 6 spending bills that they approved were bills that were drafted and approved by the Republican Senate last year, including the Transportation HUD bill, which was a pretty decent bill for HUD overall. The CR that was approved was for the Department of Homeland Security, which is where border wall funding would live and which is holding up this whole problem. The president issued a veto threat for those bills, unfortunately, so the Senate has stated that they refuse to hold a vote on anything that the president wouldn't sign. So even though those bills were approved by the House and were originally drafted by the Senate is unwilling to approve them, so they're a non-starter there. That was last week. This week, the House is taking a little bit of a different approach. They want to pass through those bills again, but individually in case the Senate might be willing to approve individual bills rather than wholesale all 6 spending bills. Unfortunately, the president has issued a veto threat for those bills as well, so it seems like they're probably not going anywhere either. So at this point, we're kind of stuck in the same conundrum that we have been this whole time. The president is insisting he won't sign anything without around $5 billion in funding for a border wall. House Democrats are unwilling to pass anything with wall funding, and Senate Republicans are unwilling to bring anything to the floor that doesn't meet the approval of the president. So we're stuck. At this point, somebody's going to have to capitulate in order for spending bills to be approved for the government to reopen. So I'm not exactly sure where we go forward at this point, but at some point negotiations are going to have to continue past this. If the government shutdown lasts until tomorrow, which it seems like it probably will, it will be the longest government shutdown in history, so not ideal situation. What does this mean for HUD overall? We know a few things. Right now, the Housing Choice Voucher Program and the public housing programs are in okay shape. Housing Choice Voucher and public housing operating payments have been made for January and are expected to be made for February. Unfortunately, HUD does not have enough funding for March if the government doesn't reopen before the end of February. So that's when things are going to start to get dicey for those programs. We do know that any contracts for project-based rental assistance that expired after December 21st haven't been renewed. So that's an issue that we're dealing with as well. So there's a lot of issues coming up that we are trying to tackle on a case-by-case basis. What can you do to help solve this problem? The easiest thing you can do is contact your members of Congress, and we've made it simple for you to do. If you go to NARA's Advocacy Action Center, you can send a pre-drafted letter to your members of Congress. I highly advise you to edit the letter with local impacts about what's going on in your community and how the shutdown is impacting you. Your personal stories make those letters so much more powerful, so I hope you'll edit them if you've got some compelling things that are happening in your community. If you're not being impacted by the shutdown yet, if it continues, you will be. So I urge you to go send that letter regardless of what the impact has been on you. And once you do that, please, please, please contact me. My phone number is 202-580-7225, or my email is thembree@naro.org, and that's THEMBREE@NAHRO.org. I can help you be in contact with your members of Congress if you've got any tricky situations that need to be resolved and you can't get a hold of HUD staff. And it's also really great to let members of Congress know exactly what's going on the ground there. It'll give them a little bit more ammunition to help move this process along if they know that the impact is real in their districts or states. So please, please, please be in contact with your members of Congress. If you need any additional information about what's going on minute by minute, I would take a look at our Twitter feed at NARO National, or you can follow my Twitter feed. It's TC Hembry. And be sure to check out NARA's website as well for the latest updates. Hopefully this will all be resolved soon, but your voice is really critical to make sure it does. So please contact your members of Congress, and thanks for all the work that you do on a daily basis. All right, hopefully I'll be coming at you next week very, very soon with an update on how the government has reopened. Thanks, guys.